What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me we have some more RPG horror stories. I keep seeing on X and YouTube videos people talking about the new edition, D&D 1, coming to, I don't know when, sometime this year, I think. And I gotta be honest, I'm completely out of loop with the whole thing. I know there's not too many changes, but there's enough significant change that changes how some players are gonna be able to play their classes, and I don't know if I want to get pushy over that sort of thing. But I'd like to ask you a question. What are your thoughts about D&D 1, and are you excited for it? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna get to the first RPG horror story for today. Take care of your DMs. I had a great group when I was younger, with a DM that took on the responsibility of teaching 5 new players, including myself, how to play. Daniel was awesome. He patiently taught us rules and spent several years running a long-term game for us. We explored a homebrew world, fighting a group of BBGs that frequently caused trouble around the world. We entered the fake courts, and a co-player even ended a duel to the death by pantsing the aggressive noble. Daniel built sprawling storylines that delivered into character backstories and helped us find our voices as characters. Dude was cool as hell. The horror story here was us players. Daniel gave subtle and not so subtle hints that he was burning out before the group just fell apart. We as a group ignored his needs. We never gave him a break, expecting a new fun session every week. Sure, we made half-ass attempts at one-shots, not really putting in the effort and honestly hindering ourselves trying to be like him. I get that he dropped the hints, but has Daniel actually outright just said and talked to you guys that he is experiencing burnout? Has he ever explained or expressed that he is, needs a little bit of a break? Has he ever talked to you guys outright and honestly about the situation and how they feel burnt out or exhausted or tired, or need a little bit extra time to prep for sessions and stuff? Have they talked about taking breaks? Because that's important. Even if you're DM or a player, if you need to take a break or something's going on and you need a little bit of time for yourself, talk about it. Let people know that you need a little bit of time. Because at the end of the day, if you're just going to be burning candle at both ends and you're just going to be getting frustrated over the stress of constantly trying to put on a show for your friends and stuff, like it's just not going to be worth it. If you need a break, tell your players, because it's better to tell your players that you need a break than just having to struggle with it continuously over and over and over again until you just feel so exhausted and unable to do anything. It wouldn't be fun for you. I kind of hope Daniel spoke up, but we'll see as the story goes. Our last session ended with us fighting against time to solve a puzzle before an elder white dragon could reach us. In true burnout fashion, Daniel couldn't even describe the puzzle enough for us to understand how to attempt to solve it. He sat there for 30 minutes while we rolled and discussed it before declaring the dragon was upon us, breathing ice. The old rocks fall, everyone dies. No description of our deaths, no wrap-up before session ends. Daniel just grabbed his stuff, said sorry, and walked away from being our DM. I miss playing with that guy every time I think about D&D. He really made those few years special. So take care of your DMs. Let them play. Give their brain a break. Understand when they need more time to prepare and don't be a dick about it. DMing is rough sometimes and everyone needs a breather. Jump in and offer to run a short campaign during acts. You'd be surprised how helpful having someone else to entertain the party for a few sessions can be. Might give you a special DM inspiration for your next adventure. Wow, I didn't expect the story to go this way. It's not much of a story, but more of a PSA, I think. Yeah, you should probably take care of the DMs, but also DMs should really communicate. As somebody who's DMing several games now, it's important to let your players know if you just can't muster the energy, or you're busy with stuff, or you're stressed out, or if you just need a little bit of a break. There's nothing wrong with that. Outside of communicating, I think probably one of the best solutions is to maybe have friends trade off between who is DMing and who is not DMing. I get being a forever DM can be kind of stressful and not that fun. Some people are okay with it, but some people are not. And clearly Daniel needed a little bit of support, maybe a little bit of a break, maybe a little bit of a relaxation period. Maybe let somebody else do the DMing while Daniel gets to play as a player and gets to relax and not have to worry about DMing duties and stuff like that. I'm lucky to be in my position right now because I have a server full of friends, and I have Micah and I have Mary and they DM, and I get to play a player in their games. So I do get a little bit of a break here and there whenever I am DMing games, so I can relax and play as Morrow. And as much as I agree with the message that you should take care of your DMs, the DMs should also communicate back with the players and let them know what's up. Communication is the best way to solve any sort of issues or situations and turn things from going sour. Definitely try it out. 100% recommend. 10 out of 10. Communication is the best way to solve anything. Either way, let's get to the next RPG horror story for today. Alpha Gamer ruins the fun for everyone. So this is reasonably tame by this forum standards, but throwing it out there for my own catharsis. This is quite long, so TLDR at the bottom. Years ago, I ran the Deathwatch D100 RPG set in a Warhammer 40k universe campaign. I'd never run a campaign with this group before. I used a setting that they created and started as an adventure from one of their source books. The campaign was only designed to be about 10 sessions long, as many of us were dipping our toes into our first ever RPG. The people involved with this merry little adventure were DM, me, an occasional bumbling but well-intentioned DM, Alpha, the guy in our group who considered himself the de facto leader and had to be the star of the show, played a Blood Angel, think Space Marine Vampire, Assault Marine. Simp, Alpha's best friend. Were it not for the fact that they were both in relationships, I'd have assumed that Alpha and Simp were in a relationship due to Simp's constant fawning all over Alpha. Played a Storm Warden, Angry Scotsman, Librarian, Psyker. Innocent Bystander number 1. The average normal member of our group and the only person who was just along for the ride and happy to be involved in the story. Played a Space Wolf, Viking Librarian. Innocent Bystander number 2. Another person who just wanted to play. He was friends with Simp and joined because he heard about it and always wanted to give it a go. Played an Imperial Fist, think Charlemagne era Frank, Tactical Marine. It all seemed to start well. There were epic battles, cunning investigations, and stealthy insertions into enemy bases. However, on or about the third session, I started to notice something. Both Alpha and Simp not only led the interactions with NPCs, but their questions was a little too perfect. It was almost like they knew not only exactly what to ask, but also exactly what each NPC was going to tell them. So I started to get a bit suspicious. I mean, if they're reading the playbook and just found a script or they have like a PDF script on the side, then maybe, potentially, it is a little bit sus though, that's for sure. As a DM, when you're running this sort of things, I think it's perfectly fine if you want to change up the answers they give, keep it a little bit more varied or flavored. I mean, you could run it rules as written, right? You can run it as written if you want, but I like to add a little bit of my own pizzazz, especially if it adds more to the story. The first thing I did was introduce a new NPC. To my surprise, not only did Alpha and Simp not lead the engagement, they almost didn't ask any questions at all. I then switched the roles and information for 2 other NPCs. Cue the visible frustration and anger from both PCs as they realized that something was up. At this point, my suspicions were confirmed. Both players had obtained a copy of the source book and were metagaming. Then I realized that both players were also gearing up for their final battle against the BBEG, tailoring their war gear and skills to take him down hard. So I made a few more tweaks, shifted the faction that the BBEG led, as I'd taken a skill that gave rerolls against that faction, and given it some toughness bonuses at the expense of its armor. The weapon choice traded higher armor penetration for damage dealt, and I waited. Instead of waiting, why not just talk to the players? I mean, you could just let them know that you know they're metagaming because they know the answers clearly, and they're literally gearing up their talents and everything to confront the final boss of this specific thing. Maybe if you were to have a conversation with them ahead of time and say, hey guys, don't metagame, just play the game, don't have to worry about it, I'm changing things up anyway, in order to make sure it keeps it varied and interesting. I mean, I probably would have talked to them. I wouldn't have metagamed. I feel like this is just a recipe for a disaster when it finally blows up, when they think you ruined our campaign and stuff. I don't know. I feel like talking would have solved this more instead of DM plotting. I guess it's considered DM plotting, kinda, sorta. Come to final battle, both of them were floored when I explained the BBEG, and they realized their skills and weapons were not effective. By contrast, the 2 innocent bystanders who had not min-maxed had a much better time of the fight. At one point, Sim started to complained that this was all wrong and almost admitted that he had read the book, only to be kicked under the table by Alpha. See, and now you have 2 players that basically would try to follow a specific strategy guide. It doesn't work because now everything they geared up for is basically useless. But it also creates a problem where they can't feel effective in a fight. Like, I get it, yeah, they're metagaming, and metagaming is not fun and all. I'm not justifying these guys metagaming. It sucks. They should be metagaming. They should just be having fun. But I feel like this could have been circumvented if you just told the guys, don't metagame, things are going to be different anyway, just play for fun, you know? At the end of the session, the team prevailed, and the BBG was dead. I should have known something was up when Alpha suggested that they still had a few sessions left. This was true. The 2 of them had expedited the RP elements so much that what I planned for 10 sessions only took 8. Alpha also suggested that he DM, as I deserved a chance to play too. I agreed despite my BS meter tingling. Sure enough, I was right on the money as my PC got pummeled. Melee bad guys would literally run straight past Simp and 2 innocent bystanders at me. Shooting bad guys would leave themselves hideously exposed if it meant they had a shot at me. Worse still, Alpha wrote the ending so that the team died and the entire universe was doomed. It left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth that both the campaign and our friend group splintered within a few short weeks. Okay, well that response definitely sounds childish. Oh, the DM made it so I can't metagame properly and cheat through the system and have the most easiest way to go. You know what? I'm gonna run a game where I can punish the DM. DM, you get to be a player and I'm gonna force everybody to kill you and everything dies, rocks fall, everyone dead. What a mature response. I guess the best lesson to learn from this is no matter what you're playing, don't metagame. But if you notice a player's metagaming, talk to them. Have a conversation with them. Let them know that you're twisting things around so that things feel a little bit more new and varied. I get sometimes you just want to be able to play things as they are. But it's a TTRPG. It's up to the DM to decide if they want to play its rules as written or like direct recreation or not. But it also requires, if it's gonna go canon story and canon plot and canon everything, that the players avoid metagaming. Even if they know what's coming up, even if they know what's going on, they can still make choices that aren't min-maxing optimal, but can still make fun choices. Make a build that doesn't completely nullify the opposition, but a build that is fun in both RP sense and combat sense without being extremely overpowered min-max. It's fine not to min-max. It's okay not to min-max. There's nothing wrong not min-maxing. It's fine to have fun. It sounds kind of jaded. I'm not saying that if you are min-maxing, you're not having fun, and that's not fun. Min-maxing can be fun for some people. But I'm just saying that in some situations, if you have such a strong desire to basically win the game that you're playing, win D&D, win TTRPG, win anything, if your desire to win is so strong that you're willing to metagame to find out basically walkthrough for everything, that doesn't sound fun to me, man. It's like playing a video game that first released and somebody within 48 hours has a walkthrough guide, and instead of playing through the game in the story, you just follow along with the guide, skipping cutscenes just so you can get the best ending imaginable. Like, you're ruining for yourself. Don't ruin it for yourself. I said a lot of things, and without going in circles over what I say, simply just don't metagame. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.